What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Spiral Up Diaries, where we do a deep dive into the week that was and all the little things that are helping us be the very best versions of ourselves. And what a week it was! What a beautiful week it was. We announced the major marathon project. I'll be running every major marathon in the world next year to raise money for November. We've got a goal of raising $100,000. It's a really great project. It allows us to not only raise money for November and men's mental health, but it also allows us to podcast globally. So when we're in London and Boston and Tokyo and New York and Chicago, we can have these really beautiful conversations over there. It is all about the company we keep. It is all about the community that we knock around with. And that's why we want to give you guys the chance to run a world major with us. Yes, that's right. We've got 2 spare tickets for Sydney Marathon 2026. It is really easy to be a part of that. We're going to give them away so you guys can actually run with us, which is so exciting. It's really easy to get involved. All you have to do is make a donation to November through our link. Tell us why you want to run with us and also follow us on socials and YouTube. If you head to our Instagram, Keegan and Company, hit that little follow, but then also hit that post that is pinned, and it'll show you how to get involved in this project. It's something that means a lot to me, and I think it'd be a beautiful thing for you guys to be a part of. So let's get into it. We are 7 weeks away from my first ever 70.3 Ironman. Training has been going really well. I've been ramping up training. I've jumped on board with the Running Room, who is a running specific physio. I've known them for a little while, Alex Bell and the crew there. Alex has been involved with Ned Brockman's run and some really crazy challenges along the way, and he's just been helping me with this little ITB band injury. Essentially, what I've been doing is I've been doing treadmill runs on a slight incline, which takes most of the pressure off my ITB band, and then also a lot of single leg stuff. So single like Bulgarians, a heap of calf work, building my left hand glute, which is lacking a little bit. So really cool to get into that. 7 weeks away. It's also important to note, although it's exciting for me, picked up my very first bike. What? Very, very excited. We picked up a Factor Slick, which if you check out Instagram, it'll be live there at the moment. We picked it up and we had a little ride on it. So talking to my coach, Craig Alexander Crowe, he's like kind of the GOAT in the Ironman space. He's been coaching me. He's like, mate, your next 7 weeks, you just spend as much time as you can on that bike. I've been doing a lot on the Swift here at home, but it doesn't, you just can't simulate the exact same thing when you're out on the road. So we're 7 weeks away. Training's been going really cool. We did a triathlon sprint with Annabelle Ronnfeldt the other week. So that will go live either tonight or tomorrow, depending what time you're listening to this. Annabelle has been in the fitness space for the last 3 or 4 years now. She's built a social media following to like 500,000 followers, really influential in that space. And she's dived into marathons and half marathons and high rocks, and she did a triathlon, Olympic triathlon earlier this year. So we actually created like a mini tri sprint before doing a podcast with her. So if you check out our YouTube and hit that little subscribe button on YouTube, we're actually going to be showcasing the whole journey of this Ironman, this Road to Ironman series. We've got Busselton in December, on December 7th, and then we'll roll into a full Ironman next year in Cairns at the moment, just around all the other 7 marathons that we're going to be doing. But this Road to Ironman content is going to be really cool because for me, it's a learning journey. I'm new to this space. I'm trying to understand, what is it like swimming in the open ocean versus swimming in a pool? What does a bike fit actually look like? Which is what we're going to get done for our bike. what kind of equipment, what kind of shoes do we want to be using? What does transition look like? Fueling, the fueling is a huge part of an Ironman. So stay tuned for that. That is going to be a really cool content piece. And make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can actually see when it comes out. In the podcast world, we spoke to Jacqui Lauder, who is a psychologist for the Collingwood Magpies. I've known Jacqui for a little while now. She was probably one of the first people that I spoke to about getting into studying psychology, which was a beautiful thing back a couple of years ago. So talking to her and just kind of understanding the differences between going through clinical psych versus research psychology versus sports psychology, talking about her dynamic with the Collingwood Magpies and how she was a part of it when they won the premiership a little while ago. So if you're interested in like human performance or optimization or just being the very best version of yourself, or even understanding how professional teams operate and why Collingwood are so good and were so good when they won, Jacqui's your girl to listen to. And then yesterday we had Tim Berkel go live, who just announced his retirement from professional Ironman. Tim's been in the space for 2 decades, so understanding how he stayed in love with the sport or how he even stayed in it for so long was super impressive. We did a ocean swim or a creek swim here on the Gold Coast in Australia before the podcast, which was really cool. Again, you can check that out on YouTube. But this week was something that was a little bit special and a little bit different. The one that's coming up, it's with a guy by the name of Chris Barnes, who is into testing genetics and our epigenetics. And I actually went through and got all of my genetics and epigenetics tested. It's a saliva and blood swab. And what it does is it tells you what genes are turned on and what genes are turned off and what we're born with and what we've been passed down from our mum and dad. And I think the biggest takeaway that I got was that, you might have heard it before, our genetics load the gun, but our lifestyle pulls the trigger. And so just understanding what are the things that are actually good for us or good for you as an individual, because everyone is obviously individualized. But for me, it also gives you your biological age. So me being 28, my biological age was 23 or 24, I think, which was a nice stroke to the ego, if I'm being completely honest. But it was cool to talk to Chris because he's like, you're aging really well. Like you're aging at 0.7 of a calendar year, which is shorter of a calendar year, which is awesome. But he's like, you're not optimizing very well, or your body struggles to optimize. So for me, I struggle to recover based on a few genes that I have. So it's actually harder for me to recover than your average person, which I look back to my footy days, probably explains a lot of injuries that I had. So putting all the little processes in place and the supplements to take and what diet is best suited for me. So instead of having a heap of steak, I've been leaning towards more seafood and omega-3 fatty acids. I'm supplementing with fish oil now, which is awesome. And there's a few other key little things that I've taken away. Sleep is really important for me. I kind of already knew that, but he broke it down on an individual basis. So if you're keen to understand more of that space, Chris is coming up this weekend. Finally, the Rosebud Thorn of the week. Rosebud Thorn is just like this little segment that we do as a highlight, rose, a bud, so something that we're interested in and learning about, and then a thorn, something that we're struggling with and be having a bit of challenge. So the rose is the bike arrived. I got a Factor Slick. It's one of the coolest bikes I've ever seen. I'm so fortunate enough for Factor to be able to borrow this for the next year. A bud, something I'm interested in. We've got this episode called the Spiral Up Diaries, which is going to be released in November, hopefully, if we can record them all. But essentially, a psychology of series just combines lived experience, concepts that I'm wanting to understand more about, but then tying in the literature and the evidence-based research to support what we're saying. So, psychology of risk-taking, the psychology of run clubs, the psychology of overcoming fear, psychology of goal setting. But there is one that I've really been looking into, and it's the psychology of breathwork, which, breathwork has been around for hundreds and thousands of years, way back when. So there's so much research there. So being able to break that down into everyday terms and just for me to understand has been a really interesting process over this last week. Not only really great content, it's really great for me to understand and learn this stuff. So the psychology of breathwork will definitely be in there. So stay tuned. And my thorn, guys, it's kind of a rose as well. It's a rose thorn. We're babysitting a little puppy, a year old. Her name's Quackles, and she is the cutest girl in the whole wide world. It's a dream dog that me and my partner want to have, or the type of breed. And she's the most gorgeous girl in the whole world, except Quackles, Mrs. Quack. She's only been here for a night, 2 nights now, and she's just getting used to where we're living, and she's not sleeping, which makes me not sleep. We're up, she's crying, barking, all the things. So I'm running on not a lot of sleep, which is starting to impact my work and being around. Since announcing the marathon project, we've been doing a heap of radio, heap of interviews, jumping on a heap of podcasts, and when you just feel like you're not optimizing greatly, that's where I feel like I'm operating right now. But even talking here, it's really good to positively reframe this, because Quack is beautiful. We get to feel what it's like to live with another pup. And sometimes we're not always going to be at 100%, but someone said to me that if 80% or 70% is the best of what you can give in a day, then that's what you give. So I'm not going to harp on it, but that's where I'm sitting. Guys, hope you enjoyed these Spiral Up episodes. It's so interesting when I look at these analytics. In the first 7 days typically gives us a good indication of how well a episode is going to perform, and these Spiral Up episodes are performing really well. Some similar to some of the guest episodes that we have, which surprised me. I'm thinking, who wants to hear about what we're up to? Who wants to hear behind the brand and the training and what we're learning about? So guys, thanks so much for listening. You guys are actually the OGs of Spiral Up episodes, and even Keegan and Company as a whole. We've got some really incredible plans coming up, and you guys are helping us so much. So if you are enjoying these, and if you're a part of the people who listen to this consistently, can I get you to hit that little subscribe button? I don't like harping on it, but it actually does help us so much, and we are forever grateful. So guys, enjoy the beautiful week that you're about to have. Tell your friends you love them. Maybe write down a little list of gratefuls before going into work this morning, or even if it's late at night, write down 1, 2, or 3. Tell your partner you love them. Tell your mum you love them. And have a beautiful week, crew. Catch you next time.